Within a month, his burgeoning belly outgrew the extra-large Goodnights which had barely fit him when he was thin. Fortunately, his mother found a distributor in Texas who could ship regular supplies of Molecares that fit him by next day air. She also located suppliers of pacifiers and nipples that would fit an adult mouth. She even had custom nursery furniture made for him so he could sleep in a real crib and have a playpen that fit him. Rose found websites on the internet that supplied the needs of adult babies and was able to purchase off-the-shelf baby clothes for him. His mother hired an understanding electrolysis technician to come in for a few days every week until at the end of a month, the technician had removed every hair on his body except his eyebrows and the top of his head. By the time she was finished, Davy's skin was as smooth and velvety as a baby's bottom. His body hair had not been that abundant to begin with. He had inherited his father's lack of body hair. Most of his body hair had been pubic and had surrounded his crotch. He had objected to the pain caused by the depilation of his scrotum, but 600 milligrams of Benadryl had made him so sleepy and docile that he slept soundly during the procedure. Afterwards, of course, he whimpered as if he was a newborn who had just been circumcised by a Moy. The permanent exfoliation made it easier to clean his pubes and kept his pubes from developing a sour reek despite his incontinence. The emoluments that Rose and Ruth put in his daily bath made his skin retain moisture as well as protecting his skin from the breakdown products of urine. The dead callus of maturity was soon swept down the tub's drain by repeated washings, leaving only the slightly puffy, pink, soft skin that one finds on very young children. His skin felt silky and smelled as sweet as the most beloved baby in town from the daily application of baby powder that they used to dust his entire body after his baths. Davy's lack of exercise made him gain weight, causing his previous thin physique to be swallowed by thick ropes of baby fat. His fingers and hands became pudgy as he quickly developed the protruding pot belly of a young toddler. Due to a gene for early baldness he had inherited from his maternal grandfather, his thick curly hair soon became sparse and wispy after repeated washings with baby shampoo. The cumulative effect of the changes in his physique and his overall appearance made him look exactly like a giant toddler. Aside from the out-of-scale appearance of his body in comparison to Davy's tiny toddler toys, the infantile appearance of the thickly padded Molecares made him look like a 1-year-old when he crept about the carpet on his hands and knees to play. The two women would sit at the kitchen table, drinking their coffee, and would break from their adult discussions to condescendingly tell him how adorable he looked as he cavorted coyly for them at their feet. Rose never understood how her adult infatuation with her intended had been transformed into a mother's love. She felt strangely pleased by his metamorphosis without being cognizant of the reasons behind her emotional change. The intelligent young man that she had hoped would marry her had turned into a dazzlingly sweet innocent infant who she adored. After Ruth bought an adult-sized changing table for Davy, Rose didn't even have to forego sex with him. At least once a day she would lead him by the hand back to his nursery to change his diapers and disrobe him. Once she had him cleaned up and smelling sweetly again, she would climb up on the oaken changing table and mount him. Davy would always chortle with glee when they made love. As she pumped up and down, he would reach up with his hands and grab her TIDs as if he wanted to suckle them, then arch his back in total surprise when his always premature orgasm overtook him. Sometimes she would bend over and let him have a taste of her teats after he had climaxed, marveling at how much she loved the babe of a man that lay beneath her. He wasn't much trouble to take care of. He rarely fussed and didn't mind if his diapers were wet or dirty. Once they put him on an infant's feeding and sleeping schedule, Rose had plenty of time to read and watch the TV programs that she liked. She found a website that catered to mothers of adult babies and spent at least 1 hour there a day discussing hints on how to care for an adult-sized infant. Davy was more manageable than the young adult who had had so many dreams of success. He was pleased to play at his two mommies' feet and babble charmingly up at them instead of upsetting the household with his ill-devised plans. On the rare occasions when he grew irritable and difficult to deal with, they merely put him in his crib for a nap. Davy didn't mind the change in his lifestyle. He had never really wanted to grow up. He had objected to being sent to nursery school when he was 4 and made protests of absolute outrage when his mother had consigned him to kindergarten for the mornings at the tender age of 6. As a child, he had never complained about being bored. He was perfectly content to sit all day with his toy trucks and building blocks and imagine what he would create if he was a developer and architect. Taking a nap in his crib was always a treat for him. He enjoyed the company of his stuffed toys and never had nightmares. His slumber was as peaceful and restful as any infant's. In his dreams, he built towering skyscrapers and vast complexes with Rose by his side, with her ever-present diaper bag full of clean Dides, formula, and small jars of baby food in case he became hungry. His adult sins had been so few and small that his guilt for them had evaporated with his maturity. His transgressions as an infant were immediately punished with a pro forma paddling followed by a timeout or a nap in his crib. Once he awoke, the incident that had caused him to be disciplined was forgotten by all.